Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kingdom Visionary Show. Today, we're diving into the transformative world of coaching with the incredible Lynn Tranchell. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur or looking to level up personally, Lynn's insights on vision, thought habits, and taking action are just what you might need. Get ready to unleash your potential and maybe even discover a new perspective on coaching. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Kingdom Visionary Show. Today we have Lynn Tranchell, a wonderful, wonderful woman, businesswoman, who is going to talk to us a little bit about being in business for yourself, the ups and the downs, the good parts. And she's also really going to talk to us a little bit about how to stay afloat, how to keep the right mindset, and give us some keys and tips on how to run our business successfully once we have gotten to a certain level. Maybe some of you out there are feeling stuck, and you need to kind of get unstuck and don't really know where we need to go from here. We've all been there in entrepreneurship, and that's whether you're just starting out or you're at your 2, 3, 4 years in and you just need to go to the next level. Lynn has got a lot of insight and wisdom with that. But without further ado, I'm just gonna turn it over to Lynn, let her tell us a little bit about herself, and we'll take it from there. Go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, so it was a number of years ago, and I was in a place where my mother was dying of cancer. I just ended a significant relationship and I was searching for something. And happened to find, uh, I happened to go to an event a friend of mine was singing at, and it happened to be at a church. And it was in their friendship hall, and they had a bookstore there, and they had a lot of books on the bookshelf that I had read that not many people have read it. And so I decided to go to church on Sunday there. And it just felt like such the right place for me to be. And over the years, I started taking classes, and then started teaching classes. And I really loved it when people got it. You know, that light bulb goes off, people start seeing things differently and doing things differently. And that's where I received my first coaching certification. And it was Unity Church. It was very unity centric. So I went out and I started doing that coaching, and I still loved it. So I went out looking for something that was a little more secular, and yet it still had that spiritual connection. It still talked about, all of the spiritual things. And that's how I started way back when. I started through my church, and then I went on to different coaching certifications. And I even just recently received another one. I'm a lifelong learner, so I will always be learning and growing. And I have 6 coaching certifications right now.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Lynn. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So coaching is your thing. You really love that. And that's great because we need coaches in every industry. I think a lot of times it's really funny to me as business owners, and I know I went through this myself when I first started out. I mean, I'm 49 now. I've been in business off and on throughout my life since I was about 18 or 19 years old. And I just remember feeling like if I had to go hire somebody, like a coach or something like that, that I was failing somehow,
Mm.
that I didn't have all the answers, and that really wasn't the thing to do. However, I forget who it was. I was listening to someone one day, and and they started making the analogy, putting two and two together for myself as well. Is you know, you get all these great basketball players, Michael Jordan. You get all these great people who do the Olympics and things like that. None of them are without coaches. So it just light bulb went off. you know, I mean, even actors, the great actors, they all have acting coaches. I was
Yeah.
listening to one actor, I forget his name, I think it was John Travolta, and said he has 5 different coaches that help him with have helped him over the years with his acting career. So coaching is so important in it, but I think that's something that I think with business owners a lot of times is the last thing that we think of. and we try to grab a hold of it sometimes when we're in a lot of trouble. Or when we can't get to that next level, but it's really something we should carry along with us the whole way through, I think. So I love what you're doing. So tell me, before we get into more business stuff, Lynn, I want to know a little more about you. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And what got you into business in the first place? I know you did the whole thing with your church, but there had to be some kind of interest before that with business.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm in Buffalo, New York, born, bred, never left. And this is the advantage and disadvantage of working from home. My puppy is making noises. So I hope you can't, well, it doesn't matter if you can hear it because that's part of doing business at home.
Exactly.
And that's why I love what I do is I can work from home. I can work from anywhere in the world. So I'm in Buffalo, New York, and when I travel, I still work on a trip by trip basis. I decide if I'm going to work or not. And what happened for me, this is actually my second business that I've had. The first one, I was in computers in the corporate
Mm,
world, and I hit this place where there was no place else to go. And the person above me, in order for me to move up, the person above me had to move, or the person above that person, somebody had to move. And I knew that I could be of bigger value to more people somewhere else instead of
mm,
being artificially stuck at this level. And it really impacted my creativity. It impacted everything. So I went out on my own and became a computer consultant at that time. And then when my daughter went to college, I figured it would be good to have a known income, steady income that I didn't have to worry about. So I went back to the corporate world. And then I got to that place after she graduated where, again, I had no place to go. And that's when I discovered coaching. It
mm.
was in that time when I started the coaching business. And I just decided that it's the right time and the world needs more people to help them with whatever it is in their life or their business that they're just feeling a little bit stuck and they need a little bit of help. And really, all of the most successful people in the world have coaches, including
Mm.
me. As long as I am a coach, I will have a coach because you want somebody in your life and in your business that sees something you don't see, that has different ideas. And as a lifelong learner, every time I learn something, I share it with others.
Yeah, that's really good. So so what do you give me the top three things that you think a good coach should possess, or top three things that someone should be looking for if they're going to hire a coach to help them in their business?
The first thing is you have to be comfortable with that person. There are so many personalities out there, so many personalities in people and in the coaches. And one of my clients said that she had talked to three different coaches and the personality just wasn't right. And she talked to me and she knew I was the right person. So you want to talk to that person and see how they respond. And also, it's really up to you whether you want. I'm more of an evocative coach, which means the answer is inside of you and I help bring it out.
Mm.
Other people are more directive coaches. So do you want people to always tell you what to do, or do you want them to give you an idea and help it blossom and come into reality through you, not through the other person? So those are the things you want to do. And also, I think it's important for even coaches to stay in the study so
Mm.
that they don't become stagnant. And really, if you're trying to get someplace you've never been before, you want somebody that has fresh ideas and is learning new things and knows and is willing to share with you.
Yeah, I love that especially that last one. Find someone who, you know what? And I don't think I've ever asked anybody that question. I think I kind of intuitively knew with the people that I got coaching from, But that is actually a really good thing to ask your coach. What are they doing? Are they working with the coach? And what are they doing to further their education and their knowledge and understanding? That's huge. I think that's really, really good to add to the repertoire when you're looking for someone who can help you coach your business. And I think the other thing too, I don't know about you, but the thing that I found that was difficult for me in the beginning with looking for a coach for my business was who I needed. So I'm like, I realized shortly after that that I really needed to be clear on what kind of a coach I needed. I love what you talked when you talked about, that you're more of a coach that kind of is a guide to help them. Let's bounce off of each other here. And I love that. That would be the kind of coach that I would want. And then, versus someone who is giving you directive, which on some measures would be really good, I guess, depending on what you're doing. But I say that because I think about one of the first coaches that I ever hired. Wonderful lady. Um, she showed up and she had her nice car, nice clothes, nice everything. She presented very well. And she became actually a really good friend of mine. And I had a partner at the time, a business partner. And however, we paid her $5,000 a month. She came in once a week. But I kept thinking the whole time, this is really just not what we need for coaching for our business. It turned into more like a counseling session every week for my business partner on a personal level. I started to think, we could do this a different way. And I think we both kind of felt that way, but then you get all warm and fuzzy with people, right? So we kept her around way too long. And it just wasn't good for our business. I kept thinking, we need some people, we need somebody here that can help us with the bottom line. What we need right now is who can help us grow and understand our balance sheet, our spreadsheet. That's the kind of coach that we actually needed at that time, right? Um,
And that's
so,
another key thing is just trust your instincts because
mm,
your instincts know what you need. And that is a big part of what I help what people do is to just trust themselves and know that if you can dream it, you can achieve it. So whatever comes to you is yours to create.
oh, I love that. If you can dream it, you can achieve it, and whatever comes to you is yours to create. Okay, that's sinking in. I'm taking notes as we go along. I like that. And that's very, very true. Um, you know, entrepreneurship is not easy. The other good thing I think about having a coach or someone to kind of be in your corner is it's better not to do it alone.
Exactly.
Entrepreneurship can be very, very lonely,
Mhm.
I think. And we live in this society that kind of breeds this thing, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I believe on some levels that's true. Um, but I want to take it a step further. Is if it's to be, it's up to us because we weren't meant to do life alone. We were meant to do life together. And if I've got a vision, the best thing I can do for myself is to go find my team that's going to help me bring that vision to fruition. So if it's to be, it's up to us.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I don't know if
And
you have any.
it does take a team and it does take, I mean, we're not meant to do it alone. There are certain things that we have to do for ourselves. We're created to be a connected person, to connect with other people and to interact with other people. We're not meant to be alone and do everything alone. And that mentality is what I call the Lone Ranger syndrome, where you think that if it has to get done right, you have to do it yourself. And it doesn't have to be done right necessarily. And it is good to have somebody else to help you along the way and to you want to be a mentor and have a mentor. So you want to have somebody that you can reach up to and they can pull you up. And then the other part of it is to be a mentor and reach down and help other people in the same way. And that's how you keep that circulation going of excellence, a circulation of excellence.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, and I remember I think it was Grant Cardone or somebody like that that said, everybody has something that they can teach and do. He says all you need are people who don't know what you know yet. You don't have to be the Grant Cardone or I don't know if people know Shanda something. You don't have to be them at that moment, and not everybody's going to be attracted to those people for their own reasons. But you've got genius inside of you that you can utilize to help other people. We all have it.
Mhm.
And it's usually that one thing that we're always secretly in our head going, if it were me, I'd do it this way. Yeah, that's usually where our genius lies. If it's me, this could be done better or that better, or this might help, a person in their business or whatever that is. Even gosh, I can remember even doing stuff like on how people set the table. I'm like, that's kind of, you might do it. Not that I'm coming down on anybody, but it's just your mind goes there. You
Yeah.
know, um,
And that's another thing that sometimes keeps entrepreneurs or people stuck is thinking that they have to wait till it's perfect.
mm,
And you really want to take the action and then learn as you go. For example, I think they say an airplane is off course over 90% of the time, but it's constantly correcting course. It goes off course and then it goes back, goes off course and goes back. So you want to take the action, see if it works. If it works, great, keep in taking that action. If not, say, how can I do this a little bit different? So it's a constant noticing and changing, noticing and changing and noticing and changing. It's not really a straight line to your goal. It's just these back and forth as you get closer and closer. And in those, sometimes in these offbeats is where you get creativity to come up with a better idea to take you even further.
mm. So, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is don't beat up on yourself when stuff doesn't work out.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, there's always a reason for everything, and then you always have the opportunity to course correct. I love
Yeah.
that.
And I think the important part is to notice without judgment.
Mm,
Because when you add that judgment, then you go down that negative rabbit hole.
hmm
Everything is a spiral. We're either spiraling up or we're spiraling down. Even our DNA is a spiral. So if you notice and without judgment, notice, and then ask another question and then take steps from there. It
hmm
keeps you in that higher creative vibration
hmm
so
Okay,
that
Lynn,
you
so how does one do that? How does one who has had a lifetime of looking at things and judging themselves, right? For if nothing else, for a means to just want to get it right and do better. And that may be something that's actually driven them as well, why they've had the success. But how does one work that out differently? How do you remove that and get into this rhythm of being objective with your wins and losses in your business?
Yeah, it just is a matter of practice. And like I said, you notice without judgment. When you find yourself judging, just notice the judgment without judgment. And then just get back to that creativity. Because it really is a much better creative space
Okay,
when
wait a minute. I think we need to halt. Because I think what you said, you just threw like a big old, we could have dropped the mic right there. You said, notice the what? Notice the judgment with,
without judgment.
okay, I think
Just say,
I need to
oh,
see
okay,
that.
so I just and that's one of the things that I have been doing over the years is like even when you look at somebody and you say something about the way they're dressed, it's like instead of saying, why did they wear that? Just say, oh, that's an interesting color. Instead of, putting somebody down or putting yourself down is the biggest one. We would never treat other people the way we treat ourselves. So just notice and be curious and not let it affect how you respond or how you do things. So stay
Mm-hmm.
in that place of curiosity, of openness, um, if we look at David Hawkins has these levels of consciousness where fear and doubt are on lower levels, happiness and joy are way up here. And you really see things differently when you're not in that judgment space.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that. I can really see that. Okay. So I have one more question for you. And that is, as in your coaching career with your clients, what's the biggest problem that you've seen that needs to be solved? Is there one that stood out more than others with your business owners, with your entrepreneurs? That seems to be like a common denominator.
Yeah, well, I do 3 phases. First, I have people come up with their vision of where they want to
Hmm.
be. Because without
I love
without a
that.
vision, the people will perish, you know that.
Yes, yes.
And then the second phase is your habits, specifically your thought habits. Your thoughts dictate your actions. So you want to make sure that your thoughts are supporting where you want to go. And then the third piece is action. Without action, nothing happens. It's like the ground wire to electricity. So you create the vision of the life and business you want, and then you have to notice your thoughts. And your subconscious sole responsibility is to keep you safe. So when you go to do something you never did before, it doesn't mean you can't. Your subconscious doesn't know what's going to happen. So it sends up the warning, 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 Will Robinson, you know, try this instead or do this. It tries to distract you. And when you hear those voices, I tell all of my clients, when you hear those voices, it's a good sign. Because if you are binge watching Netflix and not thinking about your business, your subconscious would be fat, dumb, and happy and quiet. So the
Yes.
fact that you're hearing those voices is a good sign. It means that you're getting your subconscious to notice you're doing something different. And when that happens, just see it as a good sign and take the action anyway. And then
I love,
did it work? If it worked, keep taking that action. If it didn't, what else can I do?
I
So
love that. Fat, dumb, happy, and quiet.
it is exactly. So whenever you hear those voices of doubt, say, thank you. I know I am doing something to move me in the right direction.
I love that. That is so huge. Wow. Yeah, that was another good nugget. Thank you, Lynn. That was really awesome.
And then you have
Because
to
it's
take
not,
the action. Then you have to take the action to support it.
yeah, I love that. I love that. So, okay. So you got that with your people, and that's the kind of the instruction that you get. So I'm assuming then which of those three do your people tend to have the most trouble with?
With the habit part.
The habit part.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're brought up. Actually, your subconscious, there's 2 parts to your mind, your conscious mind and your subconscious. Your conscious mind is the thinking mind. It allows you to choose and make decisions. Your subconscious is emotional and it doesn't know the difference between what you tell it and reality. And before the age of 7, your conscious mind didn't exist. So think about it. Everything you hear, everything you see, everything you experience goes into your subconscious without a filter. And that's where your habits and your paradigms get created. So sometimes we don't even know where these thoughts came from. And those are when we want to really just pay attention to the thoughts we're having and know that we can change them. And that's even brain science. That's neuroplasticity. You can change your brain. Um, you can change your brain to support your new vision. And it just takes repetition and noticing, changing, or noticing moving forward. And
Hmm.
with that repetition, you can create anything that you want.
Hmm. And is that a part of how is something that you do or how you work with your clients with within that realm? Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's really I love brain science. I
Mhm.
love the science of success. And I think it's really interesting that we're getting a little bit into woo here. So just to warn you, I
Mm,
think it's great that science is finally catching up to what the mystics have been saying
mm.
for thousands of years. And science, brain science is confirming what people have learned in spirituality, in whether you call it religion or whatever you call it, God or higher power or whatever, science are proving this now. And I think that is wonderful.
Yeah, that is wonderful. Well, I mean, we're mind, body, and spirit, and we do have a soul. Um, so it's logical, right? That just like the air that we breathe in, that there are mysteries and things to who we are and how things get accomplished that cannot necessarily be explained in the physical. So we have to go there, we generally have to go there to really truly, I think, understand who we are, wholly as a person. I mean, for me, as a believer, I mean, that's why God is so important. That's why the relationship is so important, because that's where the guidance comes from. And I love what you were talking about it's kind of like a plane is off base 90% of the time, but it still gets to where it goes because it just self-corrects. And it made me think about, for me, like the word and the word of God in the Bible, that is my barometer. That's our barometer, right? So it's like I need to start there first, right? And from there, I'm moving one way or the other, and I can always make my way back to the center, which is the truth, and forge forward in that. But I have a base, and I guess just like with the air pilot or air pilots, I shouldn't
Yeah.
say. I'm thinking airline, but I'm like, just like with the pilots, it's kind of like they know what their route is supposed to be, and they know what their destination is. So they're pinned on that destination. If they had no destination, then once they got off, they would continue to be off because they had nothing to go back to. So I just love what you said. And as soon as you were saying that, I was thinking that, yes, that's why it's so important to have a starting point, like a point of origin, where are you, what do you stand for? And I believe that's the same thing with your vision, because
Exactly.
everything that you do
Exactly.
in your business, it's so easy to get off and to add things into your business, or to go into this, or to add a partner or not, invite another company into your business, and it be the wrong thing if
Mhm.
you don't understand what your vision is, right? And that
Yeah.
business can look totally different a year from now.
Yeah. If
And
you have a
yeah.
clear vision, then it makes it very easy for you to say yes, no.
Hmm.
Is this taking me toward my vision? Yes, keep going. No, get back on track. And that's why I help people with their vision first. And then
Yeah.
after they have their vision, then they can start doing other things.
I love it. Ah, this is awesome, Lena. I love what you do, and I love your very practical way of guiding people through the things that they need to be guided through, because these are the basics. I think a lot of times especially now with this surge of social media and things like that, it's really, really easy to get tied in with people, maybe even some gurus. And I'm not saying they're not great, so I'm really not knocking things. But a lot of times, people can't even really receive what these people have to offer because they don't have the basics. And they're not really going to take the time to step through the basics in the way that they need it, right? And thus they're going to keep spinning their.
You muted yourself.
Here we go. Why I believe that people like yourself are so important. Because I mean, you have the ability to be there with them and walk them through those things. Because it's like I can go hire and get a program, but most of the time you still need somebody to coach you through the program, but that's just life. But anyway, so is there anything else, Lynn, that I didn't really bring up, or that you would have liked me to ask you, or something you want to share with my audience that I didn't get to that you'd like to
No,
talk about, babe?
other than just trust yourself. If something comes to you, then you trust that it's right for you, and it doesn't mean that it's going to look the same way as it first came to you. As you move forward and as you take steps, you'll be guided to take the next step. So you take a step, and once you take that step, the next step will appear. So it's not necessary to have the complete path mapped out. You have to have the destination, and then you start taking the steps. And as you take a step, the next step appears, and then the next step appears. And then eventually you get there. It's just like baby steps will take you all the way to the top of Mount Everest. If you don't take that step, though, you're not going to get there.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Lynn. This was so amazing. You know, I love what you do, and I've just been so impressed with what you've done for your business and for your clients, and just the way who you are in the marketplace. So I just want to just commend you again for that. And thank you so much for being on the show. And you also, wait a minute, you have a free gift too. So
Yes.
um, yeah, at the time of this that we're recording this now, my VA has to go back and do a lot of editing. However, there's probably going to be a free gift, a link going across the bottom here. So she does have a free gift, and there should be something also in the show notes for you guys, and a way to actually reach out to Lynn if you feel she's somebody that might be able to help you. She's a wonderful lady, a great lady to connect with. So that's my encouragement today. But until then, like I always say, make it a great life.
Definitely. Thank you.